Hello, it's me, Robin, with Simple Food, Simple Life. It's 21 degrees below zero today in Iowa. That's the actual temperature. And the wind chill is about 50 degrees. Or 55 degrees, I think I read, below zero. So I thought I would make some cookies for you. All right, we're going to make some oatmeal cookies with white baking morsels or white chocolate chips or whatever you want to call it. These are from Aldi, so they call them white baking morsels. I don't know that there's such a thing as white chocolate. I don't know. They say there is, but I prefer it over regular chocolate. So that's what I'm going to make today. Now, I've done some of the work ahead of time, so what I have in this bowl, I've got, the recipe calls for 2 cups of flour, 3 cups of oats, quick cooking oats, a cup of brown sugar packed, and a cup of white sugar, teaspoon of baking soda, teaspoon of baking soda, and a teaspoon of vanilla. So, 2 eggs and 1 cup of butter. Now, the recipe calls for me to cream the butter and the sugars and all that other stuff, but some of you who watch on a regular basis probably know that I don't like making cookies. I've never liked making cookies, so I don't do all of that creaming of the butter and the sugar. I just melt the butter. So that's what I'm doing. I melt the butter. I have melted my butter. I have 2 eggs, which I have tempered with the butter. And I'm going to pour all of that into my flour, baking soda, sugars, and the oats together. Now, it just so happens I only had 2.5 cups of quick oats. I didn't have 3 cups. So I added an extra ½ cup of flour to make up for that. Whether it's going to make a difference, honestly, I don't know. But I don't know. I just thought I should do it. So here's my melted butter. And then this melted butter isn't overly hot right now because you don't want it sizzling. You just want it melted. So I'm going to get this mixed up in here. Now I'll put the recipe in the description box below if you want. And I think what I might do is make a PDF file for the Simple Food, Simple Life Facebook page, and you can go there and actually do a printable recipe card if you want to. Okay? All right. So, getting this all mixed up. And just so you know, here's the thing. When you use cold butter in a cookie recipe, I'm going to use this whole bag, by the way. When you put cold butter in a cookie recipe, you will get a higher lift on your cookies. Your cookies will actually be more cake-like, and they will get a higher lift. When you use melted butter, like I 99.9% of the time do, it actually makes a chewier cookie. So that's the whole thing with your with the cookies, melted butter versus cold butter. Now, I am going to take this mixture and I'm going to, once it's all mixed, I'm going to put it in the refrigerator to set up a little bit before I actually make it into cookies. So that's what I'm going to do, and that changes it a little bit because then when you bake them, it keeps the cookies from spreading quite so quickly, but you still get a chewier cookie when you melt the butter or the fat before you add it to the cookie. So, okay, I'm going to continue to mix this until it is dough-like, and then I am going to show you what we have at that point. Alright, this is what the cookie dough looks like. Now, this is what I realized. because I added a half a cup more flour to make up for the oatmeal, the dough did not want to come together. So I added a 1/4 cup of water in order to make it easier to bind the cookie dough. So my recommendation is, if you come up a little short on your oatmeal, don't try to make up for it with the flour, because it just it just keeps the dough from binding together like it should, because the flour to liquid ratio is messed up then. So, okay, now I was going to put this in the refrigerator to set up, but you know what? This is pretty firm. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and put it on my cookie sheet, and I'm just going to put it on my cookie sheet, and I'm just going to do that, and we will get our cookies going here. And these have to bake at 375 degrees for 8 to 10 minutes is what it says. And I'm flattening these out a little bit as I go. I guess you don't have to, but you know, why not? So I'm going to fill up my little cookie tray here. Actually, it's a pizza stone, but I really do like it for baking cookies. I think it does a very great job. And I'm just rolling them up into little balls here, about that size. I'm just going to place them on here, flatten them down. And by that time, my oven should be up to heat, and I will bake them. So that's the deal. When you are making anything, any food, baking anything or whatever, it's all right. If you don't follow the recipe exactly, some things, yes, you have to be more precise, but you know what? You can actually make do. And that's what I'm doing. And also, this recipe originally called for cinnamon, but because I'm doing the white chips, I'm not going to put any cinnamon in here. I didn't put any. And another thing, just so you know, I put the vanilla in with the melted butter after it was melted. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm going to finish this up, and I'm going to bake some cookies, and then I will show you what we have. Okie doke? All right. I'll be back. Okie dokie. I've got some cookies done. Enough to show you. Now, I baked these for 12 minutes because, frankly, 10 minutes in my oven just was not long enough. So you got to kind of test out your oven. You probably know your oven, and you know just about how long you should bake these. Otherwise, if you don't know your oven, bake them at the shortest length of time and then increase the time if you need to. Okay, so these are what the cookies look like. They are the white chocolate chip oatmeal cookies. Now, these would be really, really good if you want to use peanut butter chips, butterscotch chips, cinnamon chips would be really good. And the last on my list would be chocolate chips, but that's just me. Okay, so let's take a look at it. Let's see what we got here. I haven't looked at these yet. So look, that looks pretty good. You can see that it's kind of soft. So these are going to be more chewy. And just remember what I said about the cold butter versus the melted butter, okay? All right, there you go. They're pretty tasty. White chocolate chip oatmeal cookies. They're going to be yummy. I'm going to have some of these with a cup of coffee. And it's still cold. Actually, now it's 14 below zero. Hey, we're moving right along here. Listen, I love you. You know I do. And you just remember that little is much when God is in it. And make sure that you like, subscribe, and share, because other people need to know how to do this stuff too, you know. All right, love ya. Talk to you later. Bye.